Carol, is there a knife anywhere? The bread's not cut through all the way here.
Hopefully. Charles had to go through my first appointment so she can decipher and put it into April language what someone was saying. She was asking me questions. I'm like, oh, I was like, what about this? Like, I don't know. She did something. I don't know. She was, how about I go with you so I can help you out? I'm like, this is great idea. Hold on back. I told her, I was like, I'll record it and bring it back to you. And she was just like, get your water.
Yeah. I can.
I know she doesn't.
Not till these guys are dead.
Wouldn't mind being 140 again.
She was talking.
133 at one time, but it doesn't mean I'm there now.
She was talking.
Happens.
That's what happens when you 32 men with you, right?
You just got to show.
They're still pretty tall. Were you? Oh. You think you shrunk, so what do you think you shrunk to?
200.
So he was calling thin.
Without drinking.
200 is pretty thin, just he might have muscle. Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mine is it's that cockroaches or
What
do you mean?
4 or 5.
Now that they've been Googling over her. Her plate. I made it this afternoon, actually, it's fresh.
What did you make?
The sourdough.
You need some butter.
I know, I'm sorry. I didn't want to have to make butter because, you know, we have to.
So we eat it without any butter.
Could have brought some honey.
I could have brought it, honey.
She wasn't.
I would have brought my honey, but he wasn't home.
He wouldn't have liked to be smothered over the bread either.
He likes bread.
Isn't it hard when you got, used to do a church? Sunday? Yeah. Wednesday morning. I can't tell you which one. On the stroke purple, by that is different houses. And Whole Foods. And then the other purple, so it's kind of broad. You can buy it, I think you can buy it at the same places, but they usually get down at the bigger vendor. Regular purple potatoes, but the stroke purple, I don't know what strokes are better. Than regular purple. Maybe they just don't grow around here.
So that's actually.
And then it's your purple big brown.
They just found
Purple chip, there's sweet potato.
Yeah, but there's a
Yeah, there's a Japanese.
Oh, Haley. Look at that out of her pocket. Thank you.
But yeah, there's a Japanese. I guess it's. And then it's just got a little bit of butter and maple syrup. I went to, I was standing there. She said she was going.
everything's good.
Yeah. You don't even have to worry.
I mean, every once in a while, you can find someone. Yeah.
You guys are getting to.
I think it's gonna be good. I'm glad to see some of them work. Well, you diluted it. How long have you been? I like those purple. Over there. Is that right? I don't know. They're good. So I don't know if they're any good.
It's like my 5-year-old. Every turkey.
Yeah.
Roast,
Looks like it.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah, it's kind of fun.
Movie.
The recipe, sharing recipes like that. Perfect. Yeah.
The pumpkin.
Yeah, that's what it is. You do your mung beans too, or?
I just cooked up a couple pumpkins.
Well, you. I have it. All right, I'm going to go ahead and get started since most everybody's had at least one. So feel free to help yourself to more, but like I said,
wait until the end, so save me one. Okay. Yeah, so what I wanted to do tonight while you guys are eating your supper is to share a little holiday guide, staying healthy through one of the most unhealthy times that we have here in the United States. So obviously, you know, this is Good Life Family Chiropractic. We're here to help transform the health of the people of Nebraska through God's laws of health. And so we'll get into that a little bit more, but really, we want to take away this equation here, right? Because the holidays, really, it shouldn't be about indulgence, should it? No, but this is what we do. It's like our national pastime. We got a Thanksgiving, we got to indulge. We got a Christmas, we got to indulge. We got a New Year's, we got to indulge. And don't forget, we just had a Halloween, and what did we do? Indulge. We did? Yeah, if you were around my house. Yeah, so we do this game for Halloween called the Switch Witch. So my kids, they get to go out and trick or treat and pick up as much candy as they want. They know it's not good for them. We know it's not good for them. So we say, whatever you give back to the Switch Witch, me, I'm also Santa Claus and the Easter Bunny and the Tooth. Whatever you give to the Switch Witch will give you back in toys. So, you know, we take a date after the holiday and we go out and do that. So we put all the Halloween candy in a big bowl. The idea is that big bowl is going to go in the trash. Well, that big bowl has actually stayed on top of our fridge for the last, what is it, 2 weeks now? You know, and every so often I see my wife going by, reaching out, pulling it down and taking some and eating it. And it's like, yeah, that's not what that's for. But so, yeah, no, none of us escape this during the holiday season. And so we see this, especially on Christmas Day, because what do we do on Christmas? Well, a lot of us have multiple families to go visit. Now, every house, you got to have a meal. And after every meal, you got to have a what? A dessert. And then after every dessert, you have to have and then what's usually set out on the table, just in case you get hungry or munchy and can't make it, candies, right? Christmas candies. So the average person in the United States eats over 6,000 calories on Christmas Day alone. That's the average person. That's not the person that eats 50,000 calories because they're an offensive lineman. It's not the baby who eats 300 calories because that's all their little stomach can eat. That's the average person. 3 times the average recommended consumption. And that's not just that day, because oftentimes there's Christmas Eve the day before. And just like we're having right now, there's Christmas party, you know, where this is not calorie free. It's healthy food. It's not calorie free food, you know, and you might have multiple spouses in the family having multiple Christmas parties at their, you know, at church or at work or at school. And so by the time we're done with the holiday season, we've put on most of our weight. When you talk about, you know, the obesity rate going up year after year after year, does anybody know about what percentage of Americans are obese? Not 90, not that high yet. It's trending that way. It's 2/3 if you count the amount of people that are overweight, but it's actually over 40% of Americans are obese. So yeah, it's not good. And most of that is, you know, during the holidays. So we want to change that. Now, what kills us in this season is actually the stress of the holidays. Because oftentimes, if you eat that much food and you're not stressed, you could go about your life and you could turn it off and you could go right back to home. But unfortunately, because of all the gift giving and the places to be and all the Christmas concerts and pageants and church this and Bible study that and small group and work this and work that and deadlines before you can get off of work to go do your family stuff. Yeah, I know. Steve's ready to be done. Let's just skip past New Year's, take a nap, we're good. So we see stress levels go through the roof, and what's the hormone that stress really spikes? Cortisol. And cortisol is our fat building hormone. It makes us crave sugar. And what is there plenty of? Sugar everywhere. And this is where we get most of this. And it's hard to say no because our body turns into sugar burger, starts becoming craving, and we turn. And so we see that statistically, 38% of people are more stressed during the holidays, and the other 62% are liars. Right? Like, what is less stressful about the holidays? Other than maybe getting to sleep an extra day. That's the good thing about the holidays. So, how do we stay healthy through the holidays? Well, we're going to use the 5 essentials to do that. So, number one, what is the first thing that's going to drop off once you start getting busy with holiday stuff? And not just because of busyness, what is it also getting outside? Cold and dark. It's getting dark earlier, it's getting colder. And so who really wants to go outside and take a walk in the cold and dark? Steve does. Okay. Leave it to the veteran to like walking in the dark and cold. Just throw in a 200-pound rucksack while you're at it, right? Yeah, so we get off base with this. So during the holidays, one of the things that we want to do is we want to get creative. So the best way to do this is to incorporate into this. So let me give you guys a little tip. So when you're talking about blood sugar in particular, the one thing that you don't need to burn sugar with exercise is insulin. You don't require insulin if you're exercising. It's the only activity, or only thing that you can do that doesn't require insulin to do that. And so if you want to keep a healthy blood sugar, after you eat, you should immediately start to exercise. Now, it doesn't have to be, go to the gym and pump fire and get all, buff. It can be as simple as taking a 20-minute walk after work. Now, let's say we got Thanksgiving coming up, and I'm a Lions fan. And, unfortunately, they're not as good as they used to be, or never as good as they ever were. But I will be watching them on Thanksgiving Day. And so, what's a good activity for me to do while watching the Lions? It's called the 10 squat rule. Every time you get up for a commercial, because you've just filled up your tummy and your bladder with all these yummy treats, you just do 10 air squats. And then people are like, what are you doing to that chair? Like, I'm failing. It's a little hot, right? No, or cry, yeah. Get up and cry. Go out back. It's like if you got somebody to throw the football with, because obviously the Lions quarterback can't complete a pass, then you gotta another excuse to have some exercise. Family walks are great. But yeah, so do that as much as you can. Ideally right after you eat. That's one of the best ways to offset the blood sugar spike from when we eat without forcing your body to use insulin, which actually makes your body more insulin sensitive. And when your body's more insulin sensitive, that actually heads off diabetes. So we're not getting into diabetes today, but that's one of those big things. Now, the other thing we want to do during the holidays is we want to minimize toxins, because what is something else that we're exposed to a lot of when we walk through the mall, store when we're shopping, or we go to somebody's home and in their bathroom, they've got these cute little Christmas tree candles, right? And so these candles that we see all around, they're actually artificial scents. Even natural fragrance is not natural. It's all chemicals, and these chemicals are disruptive to neurotransmitters and our hormones. And so we want to make sure that if we're purchasing candles, that we're going to a place like Natural Grocers or some of these other places that sell beeswax candles or sell soy candles, and they use essential oils instead of these natural fragrances. So look out for those as well. Chiropractic. What's going to be the big thing that everybody misses on Christmas Day? Dr. Jake wrenching on your neck and back, right? Yeah, and I guarantee I will not be there to adjust your back. Like, no matter how much you beg, I will not adjust you on Christmas. However, what's one of the things that you need most when you have these emotional stresses and chemical stresses, and even just sitting in front of the football games for hours and hours and hours, or going to the movies and watching hours and hours of Christmas movies? Sitting is the new smoking. Every hour that you sit equates to about a single cigarette's worth of damage to your life expectancy. Not your lungs, but life expectancy. And the reason for that is when you sit down, you go from a 45-degree curve to a 35 just by sitting. You lose 10 degrees of curve. And then the longer you sit, the more that sets in, the more that stretches out the muscles of the low back. So that wants to stay when you stand up, because that doesn't tighten back up and pull it back together. It also tightens and shortens the hamstrings, and it lengthens and tightens the quadriceps, and nothing wants to move. So we need to get that functioning well so that those nerves that go out to our digestive system because we're about to take in 6,000 extra calories of food during Christmas Day, right? So we have to have that nervous system firing on all cylinders. So maintain your regular adjustments. And then when you do take a break, because, right, I'm taking a break. I'm taking 4 days off for Christmas. Make sure you front load and back load. Anytime you have to take a vacation from your adjustments, from chiropractic, whether that's a vacation, a true vacation, or an unforeseen circumstance, you should front load and back load. You never want to fall off track of what your care plan is. So if you're at once a week and you have to miss 2 weeks, guess what that means when you come back? 3, right? If you're at 3 times a week and you miss 2 weeks, guess what that means? That means let's do 4 for about 2 more weeks, or not 2 more weeks, but 6 more weeks afterwards to catch back up. So it's best to not miss that time, right? Obviously, if you have to, you have to. But if we're going to maintain the health of the spine, we need to front load and back load. And the cool thing about adjustments is, what's the other thing that they call this season? Yeah, flu and cold season. Every time you get adjusted, your immune system function increases by over 200%. And so while that is not a treatment for the flu and cold, the people during the flu epidemic of 1918 that saw a chiropractor, there was only 1 death amongst all the people that saw chiropractors as their primary care doctor, as opposed to the rest of the United States where they saw epidemic levels of deaths from the flu. So absolutely, taking care of your spine, taking care of your nervous system is an important part of staying healthy. Now, the other thing that you guys can do without me, right? Home exercises, right? I gave each of you a booklet with exercises that you should be doing how many times a day? 2 times a day. And you have specific reps on it that you should be doing as well. So if you can't get adjusted, what should you at least be doing? Those home exercises. At least be doing the bare minimum on those reps. And if you're feeling stuck, what should you be doing more of? The ones that are static or the ones that move a lot? Yeah, and if you're feeling too loose, which hardly ever happens, then you can do the ones that make you stick. Right? So stay consistent with your home care. Now, mindset is a major part of this. So when we're talking about stress, what's the worst possible way to deal with stress? Ignore it is a very good answer, but focusing on the stress. Focusing on the stress creates more stress. And so we have to create a mindset of peace. So what are some things that you can do to create peace in times of stress? Meditate, word of God, go to church. What's that? In nature, yeah, absolutely. Forest bathing is a good one. Yep. Playing a game of solitaire. So that's actually a good thing. So not necessarily the solitaire, but the word solitaire, right? So we're in so much hustle and bustle, that oftentimes we need to step away and take a break for ourselves. Let be still and know that I am God type of thing, right? So when it starts to get stressful, step away, gather yourself off, send up a prayer for help, right? Maybe send out a prayer for help because we're designed to be in community. Reach out to the people that are your safe people. And then, create an environment where you can meditate on scripture, meditate on good things, spend some time doing some fun things like solitaire, spider solitaire, I heard you say, that, actually help to fill your cup up as opposed to you just pouring out. So that if you're like me, I would just rather be in the kitchen all holiday, getting the food ready and bringing it out, pulling it back and getting more food ready. That's my idea of a good Christmas. But by the end of that day, I'm exhausted. Like I need to fill myself back up. I might need to go play some video games or just put on some headphones and blast some Brandon Lake or Josiah Queen, Forrest Wright, those guys. So you got a lot of strategies here. It's just more about taking action. So nutrition, this is where we get off. Now, the best way to control your nutrition is what? It's to cook your own food, right? We couldn't control what everybody else brought, but we could control what we brought. And so going into holiday parties, especially, it's really important to, number one, eat before you go. You don't want to rely on whatever the holiday party is providing to give you the nutrients that you need to build up the healthy stuff. Right? You are what you eat. You are what you eat. And so if you go to the holiday party and you hope that they have good food, what are the odds that you're going to eat good food? Kind of low, right? And if you go to the party hungry, how much better are those? Even worse, right? Because then all the bad stuff looks really good. You want to fill yourself up with the bad stuff.
What you take eat half of what you take.
Yeah, eat half of what you take. Yeah, and then here too, we have to create a mindset around this. The holiday is a day, right? It's not a holiday month or a holiday week or a holiday season. It's a holiday. So we have to make sure that when we have a Christmas, it is that day, right? That's the day that we're indulging or we're treating ourselves or however you want. The leftovers, that's why you need to invite more people over. I volunteer as tribute. So here's another idea. So you don't have to go without, but there's always sideways moves that make it help. Now, some of these are a little bit more extreme, like I'm not getting on my potato. I'm sorry. But, if you don't want to go straight to cauliflower, you can make mashed potatoes, but just make sure they're organic potatoes. Keep the skins on them. Make sure you're using grass-fed butter. Put broth in there. Don't use the artificial ingredients, and don't front load on your carbs. Make sure the carbs are the last thing. Even if they're savory carbs. Stuffing. This is actually a tastier version. Sometimes in the past, I've done the grain-free stuffing. I've actually put it in the turkey and served it to you guys. I just didn't have time today. But it's actually better than the stovetop. Yeah, the grain-free stuff, the vegetable stuffing is way better and actually makes for a better bird if you are the one that's cooking the bird. So look at the recipe for that. Pumpkin spice latte, I know they are tasty, and there's little steps that we can make to make these healthier. My favorite pumpkin spice latte is actually baking a pumpkin pie, making a pot of coffee, put the pumpkin pie in the oven, it's baking, I'm sipping on my coffee, and then wouldn't you know it, there's some leftover batter from the pumpkin pie. And I put that in the blender and I put the pot of coffee on top of that, add maybe a dollop of coconut cream, blend that up. That is way better than any Starbucks pumpkin spice latte. It is incredible. And if you make pumpkin pies like I make pumpkin pies, it's even a healthy pumpkin pie and a healthy pumpkin spice latte. And cheaper too, because they got pumpkin pie. So, and here's one. This is actually really easy to make. So baked apples sprinkled with cinnamon. You don't even have to add sweetener to this. You just stick them in the oven at 350. I want to say it's like 10 minutes. And then you sprinkle cinnamon on top, and they get all syrupy and gooey underneath, just like apple pie does. Now, there are paleo apple pies where you can go in and you can actually have a crust on it as well. And I make that every Thanksgiving for my family. They're like, this isn't real. Like, I thought this was real. But you just have to know how to make those healthier swaps. All right? So, what else should you be doing? Your foundation, right? Your foundational supplements, just because nutrients aren't plentiful, even if calories are. That's one of the biggest gaps in the standard American diet is we're very calorie rich and nutrient poor, right? So even if all we have is broccoli for Thanksgiving, then I don't suggest that. But compared to the amount of nutrients that was in a head of broccoli in the 1930s, any guesses as to how much, we'll just say vitamin C, our broccoli has compared to? Less, correct. 30%. 30% of the vitamin C in a head of broccoli from the 1930s because we've over-farmed our soil and it is nutrient poor. So even if you're eating the healthiest foods, you're missing out. And so Max Living has come together as a network. We've optimized the nutrient, not just content, but also the absorption. So these are in combination with each other. So if you take this, all the curcumin and the vitamin D3 and all the P2, it absorbs the best. And if you take this, all those antioxidants and polyphenols, they absorb the best. And if you take this, all the prebiotics, probiotics, postbiotics, parabiotics, and the digestive enzymes, and all the other good stuff, they absorb the best. And if you take them all together, they all absorb even better. And so if you're wondering what my recommendations for you are for supplements, this is a great place to start, even without a conversation. Another great place to start is the VMG Plus from doTERRA. Not because it has as much stuff in here, but it actually has a broader spectrum minus the vitamin D, and then the omegas as well. So you want to look at those things as a baseline to what you're taking. Now, also, if you were wondering, hey, where are all these recipes coming from? Most of you picked out recipes that are in the new Max Living book. So this book is pretty cool, actually. It not only goes through the Max Living story and the 5 essentials, but then it has this amazing little cookbook with glossy pages in the middle in case you spill a little bit while you're baking. You can wipe it off and it doesn't damage the pages too much. Now, if you spill the apple cider on it, you're kind of SOL. But there's a lot of great resources in this book, shopping and cooking, and then also the other parts of life as well. So if you want a copy of this, I think we have a dozen or two on hand. They're suggesting $30 MSRP for this book just because of all the content that's in here, but everything is 15% off, so you can get that on sale. The other thing that I'm proud to announce today is my brand new book. I've been working on this guy for 5 years.
Yeah.
Yes. So I started writing this in 2020, right after Zeke illness. And most of you have heard Zeke's story. This goes into a lot more detail than I had a chance to talk about. So yeah, this copy, I'm going to leave it up front so you can browse through it, but you'll notice that the font's super small. So I actually went and republished it because this was too small. Even for me, it's like magnifying glass. Yeah, but it's really good. It doesn't have the cookbook in it, but what it does have is a 30-day challenge that if you complete, I guarantee you'll be in a healthier place than where you started. Now, there's a lot of freedom within the framework that comes with a 30-day devotional as well. This one right now, we don't have any physical copies of, but the paperback I'm only selling for $9.99 on Amazon. And so all you have to do is search for Born to be Transformed. And that's the first thing that popped up when I searched for it. So that's good. I know there's more books called Born to be Transformed out there. But this is a book that's designed to be read one chapter a day. It's only like 2 or 3 pages per chapter. Yes, ma'am.
Is the one that we can buy online, is that with the small or the bigger?
It's with the bigger print. Yeah. And you can even get it on Kindle. If you have Kindle Unlimited, it's actually no cost if you like reading ebooks. So yeah, it's good. Yeah, I put bigger print on it. There is hardcover as well. That one's $19.99. And yes, if you do buy it, I will. So that's pretty cool as well. So happy to announce that. Now, obviously, this isn't it. This isn't all that we can do for our health. We're not stopping just because the holidays are starting. However, I am taking a couple of days here, so make note of these. If you are getting adjusted typically on a Thursday, Friday, or Saturday, I'm sorry. All the holidays this year are on Thursday, Friday, Saturday. So I'm taking Thanksgiving weekend off. I'll be in Minneapolis that week. So reschedule your adjustments that weekend. Christmas week, I'm going to take Christmas Eve, Christmas Day, the day after, and Saturday off so I can have a long weekend. And then New Year's, we're going to take Wednesday, New Year's Eve, New Year's Day, and then Friday off as well. I'll be back Saturday that week, and then we'll jump into the New Year. Before we get to that point, next week, starting Monday, we're doing our Red Wednesday Patient Appreciation. And it's actually about a week and a half. It's 2 weeks if you count the days that we're going to be off. But we're having our biggest sales of the year as kind of a Black Friday type of sale. Well, we're not actually doing Black Friday. So we're calling it Red Wednesday. It's network wide. You can even get it on maxliving.com if you go to the website and go to the store. You can get the same deals that we're offering there, except for our clearance table. You know, Cheryl's about to stock that boy up. We're gonna have a bunch of stuff that's 50% off on that clearance table. So if you were thinking about giving the gift of health to anybody this Christmas, need to restock any supplements, next week is the time to do that. And then on the 15th, we're going to be doing our annual sleep workshop. And I say annual because we also did one last year. This one's going to be new and improved. I've got some new products to announce for sleep. So if you or anyone you know is struggling with sleep, definitely make sure that you bring them along for this workshop as well. So that's going to be a really cool one. So that's all I've got for you tonight. Hopefully you guys left me some food. But feel free to get some seconds. I'm gonna go turn off the computer and you guys feel free